Hello, my friends. This is Shelley from Koala Knits and Knacks. Thank you for joining me. I always love it when you do. I thank you for being a part of my channel community by always tuning in and watching and making. That's pretty special. So we are going to make this beautiful neck warmer. I know there are lots of neck warmers on YouTube land, but you know what? There's not many, if any, that open up in the front. And I thought, what can I do to make a neck warmer that, well, I'm sure there are some. I haven't really taken that big of a look, much of a look, to be completely honest with you, so full disclosure. But I thought, what can I do to make a nice, stylish neck warmer that can open in the front? Because if you're like me, you're cold at first, but then you get hot and you're like, get this thing off my neck. And I don't want to pull it over my head all the time and, you know, destroy my hair or my makeup or whatever. Not that I'm big on either of those, but still, you want the versatility to be able to take it off without wrecking your hair. And so I decided to make one that you can see on me, that it kind of dips, it has a round shape here and also on the bottom. And that's because we do some gathering work in there to give it some detail. And wearing it this way is nice and snug. Okay, I have it the tightest that you can. With the way I've put the buttons in the elastic, you can take that elastic and you can wind it off once. So I've had it wrapped twice. Take it off once on this one too, just like that. And seriously, it opens up. Lots of air movement in there. And it just makes it, it's like, oh, I'm so hot, now I can breathe, okay, kind of thing. So it's versatile on that way, but you can also go ahead, if you're shopping and you're getting really too hot and you just don't want to pull it over your head and, you know, throw it in your bag, you just undo that top button. And there you go, you've got lots of air movement and it's a lot cooler, okay? So it's versatile in that way, but you can even undo the last button and just fold it over, just like this, and let it sit there while you do the rest of what it is you're doing, okay? Or if you're out on a walk and you're getting a little bit hot, then you just zip your jacket up over this and you've got some nice warmth on your neck, but you're freer in the front. So I think that, you know, I'm gonna get a lot of wear out of this. So all you gotta do is do it up, wrap it like you would your hair if you have long hair and you put it in a ponytail. You can even, yeah, did I say that? You can just do one like that. I used my 46 needle Addi, but you can use your 48 needle Centro. And if you want one that's even narrower, you can use your 40 needle, and that would be nice too. I did a striped pattern on here that's a repeat, so you're going to want to make sure that you watch for that too. And yeah, and the nice thing about this one is that when I post this particular video, I'm also going to post one with a matching beanie. And this, my friends, is the beanie. It is a vertically striped beanie made on my 22 needle machine. This whole thing, 22 needles. Sometimes people say, excuse me, I don't have the 46 or the 48. Can I make a beanie on my 22? Yes, you can. I've also had the question in my group, how do you make vertical lines? So I put the two together and I made a 22 needle beanie with vertical lines, and I'm gonna put it on for you. I don't have a mirror in front of me, so hopefully I don't do a butchering job here, but I'm gonna just put it on, just like this. It has the same striping detail in it, okay? And it's a slouchy beanie. When you wear it like this, I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see. It's a slouchy beanie, but you can also roll up the cuff and then it's right close to your head, which in this particular beanie, I love. And then this is doubled and it's so nice and warm and it's wonderful. But I'm not gonna get any more into this beanie because you'll have to watch that video, okay? So join me as we make this beautiful neck warmer. Thanks again, my friends, for joining me. Please stop and hit that like button because that's how YouTube recognizes that my channel's getting watched and it will spread it across a wider audience. And subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you would do that. That would mean a lot to me. So thanks, my friends, and get your supplies and let's get into it. All right, we are going to start. So bring your last white and your first black needle in line with your yarn feeder here. If you're new to my channel, take a black permanent marker and mark that divider that's between the last white and the first black so you always know when the end of your row is coming around. We're going to take waste yarn that's contrasting color to our working yarn so that we can easily see our stitches when we close our ends once our project is off the machine. So we're going to cast on behind that black, in front of the next, behind and in front, all the way around. behind and in front, just letting it slip through your fingers. Not putting any extra tension on it. And it's going to be in front of that last white needle into your yarn guide. And knit 5 to 7 rows, however many rows you're comfortable with. I'll do 7 and I'll see you back. I'm on my 7th row. I see that black divider coming around. Before I get to the end, I'm going to change my row counter to 0. And we are going to stop it right there. Let me reach for my scissors. I'm going to cut that tail. Put that waste yarn color aside because I'm going to use it at the end of the project as well. Open your latch. Pop that in between the last white and the first black, making sure that it's in between those 2 needles. We are going to then take our first color, pop that into our yarn feeder, close the latch. We are going to hold both of those tails just because it secures them. We're going to knit 4 or 5 needles just like that. Take a look at these loops here on these first few needles. They're like, if you can see that black, you can see that they're not really snug up against those needles. If you keep knitting, the rest of your stitching is going to be tighter here than it is here. So I always take both pieces of yarn, the back of the yarn tail and the front, and watch what happens here. And you give it a little bit of a pull. Okay, you can help that one down underneath that too. Then it straightens that out. You can put one little tie in there just to hold it in place. Okay. Goodness, getting caught here. Take out some tension from your ball if you have a new ball. And we're going to go ahead and we are going to knit 10 rows. I don't very often use the tensioner in my machines. I like to just hold it between my fingers like this and let it just slip through the divide that's right there. And it just creates its own tension. Depending on the yarn, you might have to just squeeze your finger just a little bit to give it a little extra tension. But for this yarn, I just barely put any tension on it and I just let it slip through. And we're going to knit 10 rows. Knitting at a nice even pace so that your tension is nice throughout the whole project. Your stitches are pretty. If you go at great speeds and then you slow down and go at great speeds, then when you take the project off the machine, it doesn't look as even throughout. So try to get as even speed and tension as you can as you knit. This is row 9. I'm going to do one more. And row 10. I'm going to watch for that black divider to come around. And here it comes. So I'm going to let it stop right in front of my yarn guide there. I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors. I'm going to cut off the yarn tail. Open the latch. Put it between that last white and the first black. And then I'm going to take my second color, which for me is the gray, pop it into that divider or that yarn feeder, close the latch. Now you have both of your tails. Often new knitters will come on to our group and say, how come I'm getting a hole here? It's not, you know, at the beginning of my work, when I take my project off, I have a hole. I would say it's probably because you don't have you may have finished this one here and put this one here. Then you're going to have a hole. You need to make sure that they both go through the same, between the last white and the first black needle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a jogless join. If you don't want to do a jogless join, you would knit a few needles, then you would tie a firm knot, and then it would be done. For me, I'm going to do a jogless join. So I'm going to take that color that I just put in there, and I'm going to swing it behind that last white needle, just like that. So I have both of these colors coming behind underneath that needle, and it's going to grab both of them. I'm going to knit 4 or 5 needles, just like that. I'm going to help that one down under there. I'm going to pull this to tighten. Best to only do 4 needles. 3 or 4 is better, because then you don't have so far to pull. I'm going to let that drop down, and we are going to knit 10 rows of this color, taking us to row 20. And we will fix this when we take our project off the machine, and it will be nice and straight across. When we fix this, when we tie this a certain way, then we will not be able to see the change in color, the little jog that naturally comes. So just let that fall into the middle of the machine until we're done our project. You're going to go ahead and knit 10 rows of this color until you counter says 20, finish row 20, and I'll see you back. All right, so I've knit 10 rows of my light gray. I'm going to cut that tail, open the latch, put it between the last white and the first black. I'm going to go ahead and grab my black yarn again. Pop that into the yarn feeder, close the latch. Oh, what has gone here? Oh my goodness, it got stuck on that black needle. That has never happened. Then I'm going to pick this up and go behind that white needle, just like so. So both of these are in between the last white and the first black. You're going to lift up your working yarn, your new working yarn, pop it on the other side of that white needle, hold both strands, knit 3 or 4 needles, grab both ends of your working yarn, help that down under the divider, give that a little pull, and just let those sit down into the center here. We're going to knit 5 rows. The counter will say 25 when you're done. This is 4 rows of this black color and 5. Okay, I see the black divider coming around. I'm going to stop. I'm going to cut that black tail, open my latch, pop that between the last white, the first black, and I'm going to go ahead and put my gray yarn back into my yarn feeder, swing it behind that white needle, hold both of my needles, knit 3 or 4 needles, and I'm going to tighten that up just a bit, then drop both of them down into the center. I'm going to knit 5 rows. So this will take me to row 30. One more row. There we go. I'm at the end. So my last white, my first black needle are in line with my yarn feeder. I'm going to open the latch. I am going to cut off that gray strand, pop it in between the last white and the first black. Oh, this isn't very good. And then we're going to take the black again and we're going to repeat that. So this is our 4-row repeat. 10 rows of black, 10 rows of gray, 5 rows of black, 5 rows of gray. That comes to 30 rows. You're going to repeat this 4-row repeat 3 times. That will take you to 90 rows. And then when you get there, see me back and we will finish the last section, okay? So do 10 rows of black, 10 rows of gray, 5 rows of black, 5 rows of gray. That's your first section. Do that whole thing 2 more times till you get to row 90 on your machine, and then come back and see me. Popping on quickly to show you that if your project starts to reach your touch your table, like I have a hole here, but this is for when I use my smaller machine and then it goes through because you can't do what we're going to do with this one. But when it starts to touch your table, you're going to want to take care of it, because if it starts to push up on your work like this, you will drop a little black loop off of your red teeth and then your row will start to drop. So just simply pick your project up and just roll it into a donut, just like so. Knit another 10-15 rows and just keep rolling. And that will keep your project nice and snug and your tension around your barrel here, around your needles, all nice and even. And then you just keep going and have fun. So we'll see you in a bit. I'm almost at row 90. I just wanted to stop in and show you that. So keep going, friends, and I'll see you in just a little bit. All right, so we finished our 4-row repeat 3 times, taking us to row 90. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut off that last tail of your gray, pop that in there. You're going to grab your black again, pop it into your yarn feeder, bring it around behind that needle, knit 3 or 4 stitches, tighten that off. You're going to knit 10 rows of black, then you're going to change to your gray, and you're going to knit 10 rows of gray, and then we will be finished our patterning and we'll come back and do the waste yarn. So 10 rows of black, 10 rows of gray, and then I'll see you back. All right, we just finished 110 rows. Now you will look where your yarn color changes here, and you'll think, oh, that's so terrible. But it won't be once we tighten. Once we take this off and we do our jogless join finishes, then it will be perfect. So what you're gonna do now is you're going to cut off a tail, open your yarn feeder, pop that in between the last white and the first black. You're going to go ahead and grab your waste yarn color one more time. Pop that into your yarn feeder. You don't need to do a jogless join on this because this is coming off, and you don't need to fix the tension on this either. You're just going to knit 7 rows of waste yarn. Or however many rows you are comfortable with. I'll just stay with you here. This is 5. I'm going to just give this one little tie. 5, 6, and 1 more, and 7. See, because you can see the contrast of these two colors, we're going to be able to see our stitches really easily. I see that black divider coming around. I know I'm at the end of my row. I'm going to cut this off, open the latch, pop it in between the last white, the first black, shut that latch, and then you're going to rotate our handle so that the barrel goes around 2 times. The first time the needles drop down and go below the stitch, and the second time the stitch falls off. Just like that. Sometimes you have to help that last one, but this one, I barely did. All right, we've got our project off. Let's now remove our machine or set it aside, go to your workstation where we can now work on closing this, and I'll see you right back. All right, so before we go any further, you're gonna need to have a 5mm crochet hook, or you know what, you can use a 4.5, 5.5, 6, somewhere in that range. That's the best to use, but I find that the best size for me is the 5mm. Okay, and I'm going to use 2 stitch markers. I grabbed 3, and we're going to unroll this beautiful project. Roll it so it's inside out, actually, because we have to fix those jogless joints. Set those aside. Okay, once it's unrolled, you are going to stretch your work all the way up widthwise, just like so. And then you're going to go ahead and you're going to do it lengthwise. Get those rows all lined up and in order. If I had it the right side out, you would see how beautiful it changes it. If you're new, every project you make, no matter what it is, always stretch your work widthwise and lengthwise when you get it off your machine. Now we're going to go ahead and do our fabulous jogless joins. Get those all facing the other direction so they're not in my way. Let's start on the bottom here. You can see where, because we're knitting in the circular, it just keeps going around and around and around and around, and you don't have a straight join when you change colors and then, you know, keep going and then have a straight join. You don't have that. You have it, it jogs off as it goes up. So we came around here and then it went up and it comes around and up, up, up as it goes. We need to fix this so we don't see that little break in the lines. And so you're going to take your 2 tails. You're going to put your fingers on the top and the bottom, just over there, just exposing your rows there. Just, that is only so that you hold them in place and they don't move. Okay. Then you're going to take both of these strands in your other hand and you're going to gently pull them. And when you pull them, you will watch that move into place. Like, look at that. It doesn't get old for me. I love doing this. I just love doing the jogless join. It's so much fun. Then you tie this. When you tie, I shouldn't have cut it yet, but when you tie it, don't tighten this one because then it'll tighten in here. You just tie it so it meets the fabric, and then the second knot, you can do tighter, just like that. Then you can cut these off a little shorter. Let's do one more, because you're going to do this all the way down your work. We see where it's divided there. I want to just check my camera. Yep, I'm in there. Put your fingers down, hold it down, press down. Then you're going to just take these 2 and pull them to the right, and you can just see, you know, see that move into place as soon as it joins. I'm going to do one more with you because you could probably hear it too. We're going to tie this and we're going to cut it off. I'm not going to talk on this one. You just listen, okay? Because you can see it move into place and you can hear it move into place. One more. Isn't that neat? Okay, so yes, I get thrilled over little things like that, but you know what? It's fun. We're crafters. We enjoy when we do something that works and that looks great. Okay, and when you turn that over, you will see that your lines are beautiful. Well, you'll see better when we get it stretched out when we get it the other way and stretched, I'll show you. But go ahead and finish all of these joins till you get them all pulled and tied off. Make sure you don't miss any, double check them, so that, because if you miss one, it's gonna start unraveling when you know, in time when you're wearing it, and it's not gonna be nice. So go ahead, make sure you get everyone done, and then meet me back when you have that finished. I have completed them all. I'm going to turn it the other way, being very careful with the end of our project because that waist yarn unravels really easily. We're going to then turn it inside out, and I'm going to stretch it again. Widthwise, all the way down. And lengthwise. Okay? That one looks a little, one of them I forgot to do the jogless join in, and that's that one. I just tied it off when I was on the machine. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You just play with that and it'll stay in place. Okay, so from this side, you just work it just a little bit and it is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so grab your 5mm hook. Let's find the edge that, the one that unrolls the easy, or unravels the easiest like that, is the end of our project. We're going to do that first so that we can get it done and not worry about losing stitches, okay? So grab your hook, grab your stitch markers, and let us begin. So we are going to undo the little tie that we did there. When you are looking at your waist yarn color, okay, the loop that it's coming out of, that's this little loop right here, is the one you're going to put your first stitch marker in. Then you go to the left of it and you see this working tail. It's that top stitch that's right here. If you pull on that stitch, it pulls on your tail, just like that, okay? That's the one where you're going to put your second stitch marker. We know that we have 46 needles on our machine. 48 if you're using the Centro, then you have to do your 23rd and your 24th, or your 24th and your 25th loop. But for us, we have 46, so we're going to go around. Half of 46 is 23. So we're going to count 23. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So 23 from here to there is this first half. We're going to put our hook in stitch 24. So this is 24. I'm going to count that as number 1 worked. And then I'm going to go under 23, just like this. Pull it through the loop that's on my hook. That's 2 stitches. I'm going to go down to the bottom row here, pick up that next one. That's 3. Up to the top, pick up that next loop. 4, down to the bottom. 5, up to the top. 6. This is why we need a different color waist yarn, because you can see those loops right here, all the way down, okay? You're going to go back and forth from the top to the bottom, picking up stitches until you get to the end. This will be 46, or pardon me, this will be 45, and this will be stitch 46 worked. I'm going to see you back when I get to the end here, and then we will finish those off together. But it's important that you count, because if you forget one of these little loops, like if I was to not pay attention and miss that one and go over to here, once I take my waist yarn off, this whole row that's attached to this loop will unravel. And we don't want that now, do we? Okay, so the best way to do it if you're new is to make sure you count your loops, starting with the first one that you put on your hook, and you count all the way until we have all 46 loops worked, okay? I'll see you when we get to the other side. I'm at the end. Want to make sure that both of our tails are outside of our work in between the 2 stitch markers, okay? So this would be 43, 44. Pull up on your stitch marker to get under that little loop. Pull that out. 45, pick up this one. And 46. Work that. Then you grab your tail. you yarn over and you pull it through that loop to fasten off. And we have our end closed with a nice straight seam. Then all you have to do for this end is pull this off. Now we have, let me just grab a needle here. We have some wonderful people in my Facebook group who we all work together and teach each other new things. And this, and Tina showed us this. This is how she does this. She puts her tail on her needle, goes into this seam, brings it out. Put your finger under there because you don't want to pull the whole loop through. But then this tail is out of the way, so when you pull this off, it doesn't get all knotted around the tail. And that, to me, is such a simple thing to do, but a brilliant suggestion. Then when all your yarn is taken off your project, and I usually roll it when I roll it up when I take it off, but I'm not going to do that right here, except for, look at that. It's snagged around my... That doesn't usually happen, but that is... My needle caught it, so much for that. But anyways, you get the idea. I'm going to cut that off because I'm going to reuse this. Then all you got to do is pull this back out. And you had no problem. And look how beautiful that end is. We're going to go ahead. We're going to do the other side. I'm going to show you how to find the stitches and then set you free. Okay, so for this one, you're going to take your yarn tail, your waist yarn tail that's right here, and the loop that's coming from. So if you pull on this pink loop here, if you trail it down, the loop that it's coming from is this one right here. You're going to put your first stitch marker in there. You're going to go over to the other side, and you see this is your working yarn. The loop that is right beside it is the one that you're going to mark. You're going to make sure those tails are in between or outside of your work anyways. You're going to go back and you're going to count around. 23 is for this side, and then 24, stitch 24. Let's say this is stitch 24. You're going to put your hook in there. That counts as 1. Then you're going to pick up 23 and work that. I have to count it, so I'm not going to work this. And you go back and forth just like what I showed you. And you wrap your tail, you finish it off, and when you have that end closed, come back and see me, and we will remove this waste yarn because it's much different to remove than the other end. All right, did that go well for you? I hope so. That's what it looks like. We're going to find our yarn tail here from our waste yarn. It's right there. We're going to trail it back here. We're going to roll up that to that very first row. And you know you're on the first row when you grab that, and you can rock that back and forth and you see it pass through that loop, okay? You're going to pinch the loop, and it doesn't matter if you're 4 or 5 or 6 stitches in to start. You just want to get the top row and you pull that. Then you're going to go down, roll up till you get that very top row, pinch the stitch, pull the line. We have to undo the first row, okay? Pinch the stitch, and I do know that there's another way. I actually even have a video of it on my channel where you can put one row. You start with a different color of waste yarn, and you just do one row, then you attach your second color of waste yarn and do as many rows as you want. Then all you have to do is pull that one row out and the whole thing falls off. You can do it that way if you like to. And you can look for that video on my channel if you like. I always just find when I'm adding waste yarn, I just don't want to fiddle with adding 2 different ones. I just want to put the one on and work it out because it's not hard to take this off. So, you know, I'm saving time switching yarn there too. So, it's either 6 of one or a half dozen of the other, really. I don't think one is really much faster than the other. You take the other one off and you still have to take the time to wind it anyways. So it's personal preference, friends. I like both ways. And you pull that out. And voila. Put that aside. There we go. We've got that side. And we've got that side. Beautifully done. If you are ready, we are going to grab our needle. Again, these are metal wool needles. They have a little plastic edge. I'm asked all the time where I get them from, and Walmart or Amazon. Okay, that's where I get them from. Or Lindsay, someone from my Facebook group who sent me a pile of them. She's such a sweetheart. Okay, so we're going to take this needle and this yarn end, and we're going to not even pay attention to how many rows are in between, but we're just going to go above that top row and come out like so. Go underneath and then come out. We're gathering, okay? And then we're going to just go under that first row. And then again on the other side, go over a couple rows. And we're going to repeat that all the way across, just like this. See, I am not being particular about row counts because it honestly doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter that you put 1 or 2 rows in between. You're just going to gather it just loosely like that. And just a short end like this, if that's all you have, will work. I'm going to also do the gray side because I should have started with that so you could see it better, but we'll just do both. And let me take a drink of my coffee. Essential in the morning. Okay, we're going to go down and up and over and down and up. Just like so. Very easily done. Okay. Go down, make sure you hit that last edge though. And then I'm going to just line these up. Straighten this out because when you gather it, it wants to fold in and stuff all over, but you want it nice and neat. So you're going to straighten it up, put the two together just like that. And then you're going to pull so that you have it the width that you want. That's the width that I want. I'm going to grab my tape measure and I'm going to tell you how wide I'm going to do it. I just want it lightly gathered. So from that corner to that corner is about 4 inches. Well, not quite, 3.5. From here to here, I've done 3.5. And that's exactly where I'm going to leave it. So I'm going to then, hopefully yours is a little bit longer. I'm going to just use this one. I'm going to knot it off just so that it holds its shape. So tuck that in there. Pull it through and knot it off, then that's not going anywhere. And I'm going to do the same with this one. I'm going to do it off camera because it's really short, so I'm going to be fighting with it just a little bit, but that's okay. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to, it actually wasn't a fight at all. It was very easy, cooperated very well. But this one I want to do twice. The other one I already did. And we're going to just weave it in and out along the top there, just a little bit to hide it, and then go down in through your work, in between the 2 layers, and come out. Come out in the gray area. Don't take it so far down that you're coming out in the black area, because then if it ever started to peek out, you would see it. If it starts to peek out in the same color, you don't see it. So I always make sure that I hide my tails in the same color when at all possible. Okay, so that's one side. I'm going to do that to the other side, and then grab 2 buttons that you like for your project and a hair elastic. A hair elastic, a simple hair elastic. That's what we're going to use. When we have that done, we're going to just put it so that your 2 sides are like that. Now the hardest part is to figure out what buttons you want to use. So I went into my stash. I can put like wooden buttons go with any color, I think. I think that I actually love that. But I also found these, and they got like a striping in it too, so it kind of goes with it. And I would put it in this way so that the stripes, I like that too. Oh, you guys, I wish you were here with me. And then there's basic gray. I don't know which to choose. Let me see. You would have seen what I chose at the beginning of the video, of course. But this is a real dilemma. But I think I'm going to go with these gray ones. And the reason being, even though I love all the other ones, I had to pause the video and sit here and stare at all of them and think about it. I think that there's enough patterning in here that it's busy enough. I don't need to add more busyness. I'll save those for another project. And I'm going to go with the gray. I like the gray, okay? So we're going to take a needle and a double layer of thread, strand of thread, and we're going to line up our corners here and our corners there. They're exactly the right size. We're going to take 1 button and we're going to place it on the upper half, okay? So if that's the middle, I'm going to go up to the upper half, just like that. So, well, let's just find, this is where our corner is. So just go just below that, okay? And on this one, we're going to go just above it. So just below it and just above it so that they are exactly like that, okay? And I'm going to just, so there's my corner. I'm going to place that on and I'm going to sew it on. Okay. Oops. So just simply with a needle and a thread, going through all layers, we're going to sew our button on. I told you in the beginning that we needed only one of these twisty ties, but you need two. Or hair ties, but you need two, one for each button. I had a different idea that I was going to do, and then I changed my mind as I was doing the project. Okay, so we are going to finish that off. That's good. I'm going to pick up a layer in the back and knot that off. One more time. Hide my end in between the layers like we always do. Cut it off. I'm going to cut this little tail off here too. I don't like that little strand. And then we're going to take our next button and we're going to do the same thing. So take a look at this. We've got about a finger width. Not quite. So that's where it's going to go. Right there. I'm going to sew it on in the same manner and I'll see you back when I'm done. Once that is done, you're going to go ahead and take one of your hair ties and you're going to put it around your button, just like that. Then you're going to put this piece over top. We're going to flip it inside out. Look at that. I spoke with a needle in my mouth. Okay, line up your corners again. So this is around the button. You're going to line up your edges again, your little corners. And you're going to stretch this so that it's grabbed the button just like that, you can see. And we're going to sew this hair tie onto our piece. I'm going to grab the loop of that end so that it holds it secure. Just like that. I'm going to just turn this so that I can get at it better. And we're going to just sew down. Around that hair tie and down. This is not going to bother your skin. So some of you are probably saying, isn't that going to like bug your skin because it's against your skin? No, it won't. It's soft. Okay. And we're going to, and this isn't tight against your neck, so we're good. I'm going through one layer, close to the one side of the tie, close to the other side of the tie as I go. So we don't have big, long sewing stitches there. I'm going to go right to the edge. And then I'm going to tie it off. I thought I could work this between the layers and go here and come around, but it's too short. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the other side. I'm going to tie off and then I'm going to hide my end between the two layers. Cut it off. Just like that. So again, I'm going to go and sew this side on as well. Let's take it around to the other side. And you've got your tie just like that. You're going to do the same thing to this one, hiding your end of your tie on the inside here. So you'll put it on your button, then you'll turn it inside out and you'll snug it up so that your corners meet there. And that is how I'm going to close it when I wear it. I'll have a tie on this side, just like, I got to sew that other side. Just like this, and I'll have a tie on this side that's the same as that. And then all you got to do is wrap it around, and there you go. All right, friends, get that done, and I'll see you back. When you have that done, your piece will look like this. You've got your tie here. When you put it on, you just wrap that around, and when you put this one on, you wrap that around, and it's nice and snug, yet there's some room in there for air to breathe. And if you're like me, you like to, sometimes it gets a little too hot, but if it's really cold and you want to make sure that there's no air seeping in there, you just wear it this way. Have that in the front and this in the back, and your collar of your jacket will hide that and you won't even see it. And you can have your neck nice and toasty warm. So there you go, my friends. I wonder if you can do, I just thought of something. I wonder if you can cross these out. No, you can't. I was thinking, can I cross that and never mind. Blooper. But you could probably double this if you wanted to make it tighter. You could twist this again and put it over. Not with this one, it's too thick. But if you use a thinner, tie, then you could probably put it over and then twist it again. This one I can. Yeah, I can if I work at it. And then it'll be even snugger. Let's try it on this one. There you go. And then I actually like that better. I think that's perfect. So that's probably what I'll try and do. I'll just twist it twice over there, and then you've got a beautiful, beautiful closure, just like that. Well, friends, we've gone and made another project together. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Be sure and click on the beanie tutorial as well. It will be in the description box below, but if you just start surfing my channel, it'll be right up at the top where I posted this neck warmer, because I posted them both at the same time. So please have a look at that as well. Make yourself a set, and don't forget to show us in my Facebook group, Koala Knits and Knacks. I'd love to have you a part of that group if you haven't joined already. And one more thing, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks, my friends. Take care, and we'll see you in the next video.